and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dave, would you lead us in prayer?
Dear God in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Lord, we come before you as a club, asking for blessings to help this club nurture the community and be successful in the things that we do. Thank you, Lord, for the day that you've given us, and may we be an example every day in the community. Thanks for the food that you've given us today. Forgive our sins, Lord, every day. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. Nelson.
You know, it's rare, as far as in my memory, it's rare to have a bride or a bridegroom in the club. And we've got one, a very recently married young man who is here today. I tried to think of a Here Comes the Bridegroom song, and I didn't know the words. I can do the bride, but I can't do the bridegroom. But, so we're going to sing to David Winberry, for He's a Jolly Good Fellow. Here we go.
He's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, that nobody can deny.
And then I think I'm going to have to test Andy here. Now, you all know Andy really ought to be back in the club.
Yeah. Here.
And so we're going to see if he still knows the words.
So go ahead.
R-O-T-A-R-Y, that spells Rotary. R-O-T-A-R-Y is known on land and sea. From north to south, from east to west, he profits most who serves the best. R-O-T-A-R-Y, that spells Rotary. I saw his mouth moving, Nelson.
Yes. Well, he had some of the words, I think.
He had the rotary part now.
Yeah. And you can spell it back.
Well, the reason they don't sing that kind of song at Kiwanis is that no one can spell the name.
Birthday and club anniversaries. Fred 1 is celebrating 40 years in the club this week. That's what DACBB says, so congratulations, Fred. Blade Carpenter has been a member for 8 years this week. And Butch, I see that you have a birthday this week.
Yeah, buy tickets.
Remember, we have the May 19th District Bike Ride. Community award nominations will be happening in next month, not this month. And then Donna, I think you'd like to say something about the partner ticket, right?
Like to say something or was asked to say something? I don't know. Let's clarify that.
Okay.
Since Dennis isn't here, I'll go ahead and kind of take this over for him. At the PETS convention, we were asked to take on the selling of the Cardinal game tickets again. And this is a pretty good deal. We sell them for 10, the club gets 5 back. So for every ticket you sell, we get half back to the club. Last year, made a note, we actually sold 48 tickets and that was $240 extra for our club. So if everyone would commit to taking at least 2 tickets and selling those, I have them. They are all numbered. I'll just note which numbers you take. I need the unsold tickets and or the money for the tickets you took by, I need to send these in by Monday, April 23rd. So if I could get them the week before that, that'd be even better. So if you take some tickets, I will be hunting you down for the proceeds.
All right, so these are the tickets for the district. We do it every year, and we get to keep a portion of the sales. So, Sergeant at Arms. And Ron, you want to?
I have an empty mouth, but nothing to say.
Okay. Very good. Amanda, Secretary.
Donna, do you have a guest today? Or?
I do. And a lot of people probably
I'll say
recognize
it's not
him.
really a guest, but
This is Christopher Wyatt, for those of you who don't know him. And he has been hired by Ozark Information Services, one of our technicians. And I want him to come to Rotary today to show everyone that he still exists.
welcome.
Didn't read the budget.
Didn't read the budget.
somebody say fried chicken when somebody can't have a community.
That was him, we've been teaching him about the fried chicken, so.
The only other thing that I have to mention is Wayne Smith, my RFF, has resigned from the club. His duties with the hospital are over at the end of this month, so he is moving on somewhere else. I don't know if he's going back to Alabama yet or if he's going on to another hospital, but so he has resigned. So I am in need of an RFF, so we need to get somebody else as a new member as quickly as possible, because I don't like to be lonely.
Right now, we'll let you in our fold.
Oh, will you?
I think we allow it.
That's all I have
You
today.
feel that? Yeah, with Chris here.
Why, anything about treasurer report?
No, just pay your invoice if you have it.
Okay. I didn't see Deanna on service, so we're on. David Winberry did a great job as a door greeter today. Let's give David a round of applause. Phil Baldwin is up next week. Any other announcements? You go to the club or community? If not, then I'll introduce our speaker today. It's Andy Walmsley. He's a native Batesvillian, graduated from Batesville High School and then attended Lyon College. He moved to Jonesboro after graduating from Lyon. He worked as an estimator, project advisor for Atlas Asphalt for 8.5 years. In 2005, he and Ann moved back to Batesville, where he became a banker at First Community Bank. In 2007, he became a financial advisor. He's currently with Ameriprise Financial, and his office is located in Citizens Bank. Andy is the immediate past president of the Batesville Kiwanis Club, and he and I spoke last year. We were both incoming presidents of these clubs and said, well, let's go talk to each other's clubs. So here's his opportunity to talk about Kiwanis here, and I hope I have an opportunity to come talk to Kiwanis about us. He's also served on other boards in our community, but let's welcome Andy with a round of applause.
Thank you, Barry, for that introduction. It's my pleasure to be here today. A couple of years ago, Amanda came and spoke to our club about Rotary as well, and that was a great program, and we enjoyed it. And even though sometimes in jest we tease each other a little bit and give each other a hard time, these are both very well-respected clubs in the community and very important clubs in the community for your work. So it's my pleasure to be here today. I want to tell you a little bit about Kiwanis at the international level. I'm going to tell you about a couple of projects that Kiwanis is working on that are very near and dear to my heart. And I want to tell you just a little bit about our local club and some of the things that we do. So Kiwanis was founded in 1915 by Alan Brown and Joe Prance. It was founded in Detroit, Michigan. And a lot of people ask me, what does Kiwanis mean? Kiwanis is actually an Indian word that translates into the phrase, we trade. I'm not real sure how that came about, but it means we trade. I think the actual word is Nuxie Kiwanis. So that's where that came from. Just like you recite the four-way test, for us, every meeting we recite the Kiwanis defining statement, which is Kiwanis is a global organization of volunteers dedicated to improving the world, one child and one community at a time. And that's Kiwanis' number one mission, is serving the children of the world. Today, Kiwanis has over 600,000 members worldwide. In addition to our adult clubs, one of our big programs is our student leadership programs that are in schools and universities. We have K-Kids, which is programs for elementary age students. We have Builders Club that covers junior high. We have Key Club, and some of you may be former Key Clubbers, Barrett. I think you may have said you were. And for our college age students, we have what we call CKI. It used to be called Circle K, but apparently there's a business out there somewhere that uses Circle K, and so we've changed to CKI. Here locally, our club sponsors 11 what we call SLPs in the community. We have programs at Batesville, in the Batesville School District, in the Southside School District, in the Midland School District, 9 total programs in those 3 districts. Plus we have a CKI at Lyon College and UACCB, so 11 total programs that we are the sponsoring club of those programs. So that's something we're very proud of. One of the things, the fundraising arm for Kiwanis is the Kiwanis Children's Fund. And there's two projects in recent history that have been leading projects for the Kiwanis Children's Fund. The first one is iodine deficiency disease. This is, and here in America, I mean, we all know that iodine is added to salt. We don't necessarily know why that is. In a lot of developing nations and third world countries, and especially depending on the food source available, a lot of areas do not, the people do not have access to iodine in their daily diets. And iodine deficiency disease is the leading preventable cause for mental and developmental disabilities around the world. And so just for a very small amount of iodine added to a person's diet, it has a significant impact on disabilities. That project began in the 1990s in partnership with UNICEF. The goal was to raise $75 million through Kiwanis for that project. When it was said and done, they'd raised over $100 million. And still today, that's not one of those things that you do it and once it's finished, it's done. I mean, every day, new children are born and those children need iodine as well. So that's an ongoing mission that Kiwanis, along with UNICEF and other organizations, oversee. The current project that Kiwanis and the Children's Fund is working on is what they call the Eliminate Project. In just a second, I'll show a video. But the Eliminate Project is an initiative to eliminate maternal and neonatal tetanus. And I don't know about you, but when I first heard about it, I thought, what does that even mean? I mean, I think about tetanus. You cut yourself on a piece of rusty iron and you go get a tetanus shot. It can't be anything that serious. But as I learned more about it, I realized just how serious it was. In third world countries, people don't normally get vaccinated for tetanus. And so here in America and other developed countries, it's not an issue. Over there, it's a problem that typically happens during the birthing process. A pregnant mother gives birth on a dirt floor in a hut with unsanitary conditions. And typically what happens when the umbilical cord is cut, it's cut with a dirty instrument, and tetanus spores get into the bloodstream of the child and possibly the mother. And it becomes, over about a 7 to 10 day period, it's almost 100% fatal, and it's an excruciating, can't say it, tears me up to even think about it, but it's very painful, excruciating death for the baby. The Bible, in Bible times, it was referred to as the seventh day death. And any of you that know your Bible history, they theorize, I don't know that anybody knows, but they theorize in the book of Samuel, when David lost his child after he had sinned, it says in the Bible that on the seventh day the child died. And they think that may have been what the child had. And as you watch the video, you'll see just how terrible it actually is. The vaccine for this disease cost $1.80. Less than a gallon of gasoline, and it will save not only that child's life, that mother's life, but any future children that she ever has will have immunity to that. So it's a really powerful way to, and very inexpensive way really, to save a life. And so they administer the vaccines over three different rounds, and then that mother is protected the rest of her life from all unborn children and future children. So it's something very near and dear to my heart. I'm going to go ahead and show a video.
Children are the same the whole world over. They're very much like mine.
The spiritual values or material values of life are applicable to any child, anywhere that child is born.
And they're the same bonds of love and connection between mothers and their babies and their children.
we are Kiwanis. We have one goal to serve the children of this world.
What Kiwanis focus on is kids, particularly kids that nobody else stands up for. In a lot of societies, kids are just, they have no clout whatsoever. And so what Kiwanis does is Kiwanis focuses on improving the quality of life of kids. Back in the 1990s, Kiwanis worked in partnership with UNICEF to address the problem of iodine deficiency disorder, which was a major cause of mental disabilities among children.
We raised the IQ of the world because of a nickel of iodine in a person's life.
Kiwanis committed to raising $75 million. People thought that was crazy because Kiwanis had never done that kind of thing before. In fact, we raised almost $100 million throughout the campaign, and now there are 80 million children born every year that are free from mental disabilities because of the kind of people that join Kiwanis clubs, which is just phenomenal. We were approached by UNICEF saying this is the next big problem, is this neonatal maternal tetanus. Tetanus is a global issue because tetanus is in the dirt everywhere. It's just in a lot of developed countries, people normally get tetanus shots. In a lot of countries, third world countries, primarily Africa and the Middle East and Asia, tetanus vaccine is not readily available to the masses. It was going to cost about $240 million to address the problem, and they've gotten grants for all but $110 million of it, and said, we don't have the rest of the money.
Do you know that the cure for tetanus was discovered in 1924? 1924. Why are babies dying from tetanus? The only reason we don't get it here in America or in Canada or wherever else is because we take shots and we're protected. But in third world countries, they don't have that. And so therefore, they get tetanus, mother gets tetanus by dirt or unhealthy birthing practices. When the baby gets tetanus, it'll die between 4 to 7 days. It is a most excruciating death because they are sight sensitive, so they have to be in a dark room where their eyes must be covered. They are sound sensitive, so they have to have the ears plugged or there must be no noise. The baby's muscles contract, and a baby will bend backwards, and their bones will break, and the baby will scream in pain until the baby dies. If you have ever been a parent, a grandparent, how can you turn your back?
After seeing that video, that's when it hit me. I mean, it's not just you catch yourself on a rusty nail or something. It's a powerful, terrible disease, and so preventable for $1.80. As part of the initiative to raise that $110 million, Kiwanis challenged all their local clubs to try to become what they call a model club. Now, to be a model club, and this was over a 5-year period, it started several years ago, but once the club committed to being a model club, it had 5 years to raise the money that was needed. And the cost to be a model club was $750 per member. So we had 70 members at the time, so that's a $52,500 commitment over 5 years. And I would have really seriously thought there's just no way we can raise that. That's so much money. You know, there's only so many pancakes you can sell, so many things you can do. But I'm pleased to tell you that so far, with about 4 years in, we've raised $45,000 for this. By the time we finish our $52,500 commitment, we'll have provided over 29,000 vaccines to stop that. You know, I knew nothing about this years ago, but to me, this is the most important thing that Kiwanis does. And it's just so amazing to be a part of that and to help raise money for that. Like I said, we have a little over a year to go. We have raised money through pledges from the club. Our rib cooks, one of our rib cooks every year, and some of you probably buy our ribs. The proceeds from one of our 2 rib cooks goes towards this project. Those of you that have seen the big K around town, and Johnny, I think a lot of times you're the first one to get it.
Yeah.
The proceeds from the big K go to support the Lemonade Project. Our SLPs, especially the West K kids, I've got to give a shout out to them. The West K kids do a lot of work. They have a lot of little fundraisers to raise money for this cause. And the last thing that we did, something very recently, we did as part of our pledge campaign, our president, Dr. Tebbets, went around to some of the banks and local employers and asked them to participate. And we had 5 different groups make a $500 matching pledge. And First Community Bank, Citizens Bank, Bad Boy Mowers, Centennial Bank, and M&P Bank all stepped up and helped us raise money. And like I said, we're at $45,000. We should have 2 more rib cooks to go, and those 2, along with what we're already doing, should put us over the top and hopefully then some. But a big thanks to those 5 organizations for helping us and helping. Each one of those organizations provided 278 vaccinations. So that's at least 278 people that'll live because of their generosity. So again, thank you so much for that. On to maybe something a little bit happier. Just want to talk a little bit about our club, our Batesville Club. We were chartered on April 16th, 1928. We had 36 charter members. Currently, we're at 71. The first president of the club was Lincoln Barker. Our current president is Dr. Terrell Tebbets in his 2nd term as president. And I want to tell one funny story. As I was doing a little research, there's a story about the membership pig. And I guess back when the club started in 1928, little did they know the Great Depression was right around the corner. And obviously through that period of time, membership suffered tremendously, not only with our club, but the other clubs in the area, and I'm sure Rotary clubs and all sort of civic organizations suffered during that time. So in the latter part of the Great Depression, as hopefully things were starting to get better, our club president at the time, Chubby Bernard, came up with the idea to do a membership pig for a membership drive. And so there were several clubs in our little region, we call it a division, and what they did is they purchased a pig, and whatever club had the fewest number of members in that month, then they had to babysit the pig for the next month. So as you can imagine, that was a pretty good incentive to go out and recruit some members and try to pass that pig off to somebody else. Well, I don't know how long they passed that pig around, but they had it for some time. Ultimately, what they did is they donated it to an orphanage over around Morrilton somewhere and gave it to them, I think, around Christmas time. But when I saw that story, it was just too funny not to mention. So maybe that might be what the clubs need to think about. Yeah.
Did Batesville ever have the...
I don't know how that worked. It didn't go into a lot of detail. I'm sure we did. So anyway, our club is part of what we call the Missouri-Arkansas District. We call it MOARC for short. And that covers the entire state of Missouri and the entire state of Arkansas. So it's a very big district. We break the district down into divisions. And I think there's about 35 divisions. Our club is a member of Division 17, which includes Walnut Ridge, Cave City, Cherokee Village, Ash Flat, I think maybe Pocahontas, a few other clubs. I didn't write them all down. And so we are a part of Division 17. Our club has produced so far 4 governors that were over the MOARC district. Those governors were Joe Chumley, Lou Scepter, Keller Crosby, and Forrest Priest. And I'm pleased to say that we have the current governor-elect, who will be the next governor of the MOARC district, Gary Baker. Many of you probably know Gary. So our fiscal year begins October 1, and Gary will be our 5th governor from our club. No other club in the MOARC district has ever supplied more than 3. So we're about to be 2 ahead of anybody else. So that's something we're very proud of. some service projects that we're participating in and do. First and foremost, and probably the most well-known, is the Chubby Bernard Pancake Day, which started in 1972. It's something we've been doing every year since. It's always in mid to late October, usually the third Thursday of October, unless there happens to be a conflict at the First United Methodist Church, where we always stage it. David and I can both attest to that. Whoever the vice president is, and I believe the president-elect, 2 years in a row are co-chairs of that fundraiser. So for 2 years in a row, I was at First United Methodist Church at about 3:45 that morning frying sausage patties. And we get a couple of griddles brought in, and we fry sausage patties from about 4:15, 4:30 until about 6 o'clock, and then we convert over and we only fry patties on one small grill and then cook pancakes on the griddles. But that's the only way we can stay ahead of the morning crowd, is come in that early and start frying sausage patties. We put them in the oven to warm them. And we probably finish about 11 or 12 o'clock that night. We're required to clean up afterwards, and as you can imagine, pancakes are not a real clean thing to cook and make, but we've kind of got a system down, so it's not too bad. But for those people that are there at 3:45 in the morning and still there at 11 o'clock, it's a long day. I never will forget when I was in charge of it. I had to, we had to carry a lot of supplies back to where we store. And it was just so late, and I was so tired, I just didn't do it. So the next Friday, I had to do it. And I just couldn't bring myself to do it all by myself, so I called He Delivers and just had them do it. And I think the best decision I made, because I just was too tired to mess with it. But that's something, again, we do every October. A couple other projects that we do, you probably heard of our Kiwanis Youth Football League and cheerleading program. That's my passion. That's what got me to Kiwanis. When my oldest son started the third grade, he wasn't much of an athlete at the time. And it really shocked me when he said, "Hey, I want to play football." Because I didn't want to play football at that age. I started playing older, but at that age, no way I wanted to get tackled and hit. But he wanted to, and I saw what an impact it made on his life, how he grew and his confidence gained, and he it helped his self-esteem. And so that next year, is when he went in fourth grade, I coached. And between my two boys, I've coached at least one of them every year since, until now they both have graduated out of the program. So last year was my first year not to coach. But I also am very involved. Linda Waits, as you know, started the program, and he's the commissioner, we like to call him. He's the Roger Goodell of the Kiwanis Youth Football League. Maybe not quite the same iron fist, but real close. And so kind of my thought is, one day when Lindell decides he's ready to hand that thing off, I'm hoping I get to be the guy that gets to keep it going. That program is available for the football players. Third and fourth graders play in one age division, fifth and sixth graders play in another. Our cheerleaders, we take them at a younger age. I think they'll take them all the way down to first grade. And they try to match up as often as possible. When sisters or cheerleaders and brothers or football players, they try to match them up with the same team. So you could have the whole age gamut with cheerleaders, but obviously with football, we don't want third graders getting hit by sixth graders, so we split them up. According to Linda Waits, we started that program in 2004. Between the two, the cheerleading and football, we've had over 2,500 participants. Now some of those are the same kids participating multiple years, but we've had 2,500 total participants come through the program. We see the program as a feeder program, now mostly for the pioneers. At one time, Southside had their own teams and participated in our program, but now they're in a different setup. Occasionally we will get a Southside or a Cave City kid or somebody else, and we always let them in, but the bulk of our kids are future pioneers, and we see it as a way to help the pioneers in the future. A couple other things that we do, and one of them's coming up, Macy's Stroll and Roll. I don't know how many of you are familiar with Ron Llewellyn and Martha Llewellyn and Josh and Rhonda Bryant, but they have a daughter, Josh and Rhonda have a daughter with Angelman syndrome, a very rare disorder. And Macy Strolling Roll, their daughter Macy is the inspiration for it, is a fundraiser for Angelman's Research. And we always do it in late April, and it's done as a walk down at the river. And I think last year, I didn't get the exact number, but I think last year we raised somewhere around $12,000 through the Strolling Roll. So that's one of our maybe our biggest single fundraiser. Other things that we do the rib cook. Please tell me if I'm getting close to my time. A little bit of time, all right. We do 2 rib cooks a year. We do one during the Super Bowl weekend in early February usually. And we do another on Father's Day weekend. One of those goes to Eliminate. The other one typically goes to our Key Leader program, which is a weekend retreat in the fall for the kids around our district. They go to camp, is it Tanaco down in Hot Springs? I think it's called Camp Tanaco. And they go down there for a weekend leadership retreat, and that helps fund that. Other things we're involved in, we have taken over and do the Christmas parade. We've done that 2, maybe 3 years so far. The Big K project that I mentioned earlier. We have a program called Young Children Priority 1, which is a reading program in the preschools and lower elementary school classrooms where members of our club go in and read to children. And actually we take books, and we always give a book to every child in the classroom, and through that program and some fundraising we're able to donate those books to the children. We give scholarships to seniors all around our district. We do a program that's kind of been on hold with the shutdown of the Mickey Mouse pool and before the pool here was open, but we hope it restarts, and that's Every Child a Swimmer program, where free swimming lessons are given to all the children in the county. All the school districts typically, if school's still going on, they bust their kids in. I mean, we try to get every single child at about the age of 10 in, and we teach them to swim. Mayor Ellenball, for years and years, when he ran the Mickey Mouse pool and was over that program, we partnered with him to put that on, and he's very passionate about it as well, and wants to partner with us now that the community center is fully operational to put that program on. Those are just a few. I mean, we partner with other people on many others. The White River Canoe Race, for instance, that you guys are also involved in, and just. We do a lot of good in the community. I've got to tell one story on Dr. Hester. He came and spoke to our club not too long after he moved to town to tell us about his vision for the school district. And I was still president at that time, and Linda Waits and Bobby Kent and a couple others wanted me to get up and just give him some good-natured ribbon about being a Rotarian. And so I got up and I said, there was a few in this room that wanted me to give him a little grief over being a Rotarian. I said, but his name is now on the bottom of my wife's check every month. And I would be danged if I'm saying about him being a Rotarian. So, but anyway, that's all I had. Does anybody have any questions?
You mentioned about the Eliminate program where you vaccinate the mothers, and this is a lifetime fix.
That's correct.
Whereas if we have a tetanus shot about every 5 years, they want us to do another. Is it a different kind of vaccine?
What I know about it is it's administered in 3 different shots. I'm not, I just don't understand the science behind it to know exactly what's different. There may be different types of tetanus. I kind of suspect that's what it is. But if the mother gets those 3 shots, and typically it's people that live way out away from developed areas, and it takes somebody physically going to them for them to get it. And just, in addition to the vaccines, they also talk to them about hygiene, about sterilization. A lot of this, even if they weren't vaccinated, could probably be avoided if they just understood the basic principles of sterilization. But yes, once they get that shot, then they have it forever. Their unborn child will have it forever, and any future children they have will be protected forever. So it's very powerful.
I want to thank you for your involvement on the Every Child a Swimmer. We are trying to pull it off for our 3rd graders from the week May 7th through the 11th.
Great.
All the 3rd graders from every campus comes up and gets swimming lessons, which is so important before summer starts, and we appreciate that.
Well, thank you. Gary Baker got that program started, and he likes to tell a story. He put it on, and it struggled, and he was pulling his hair out. You know how those things are, when it all gets dumped on one person, and they do it 2 or 3, 4 years in a row with little help, they get frustrated, and sometimes ready to throw their hands up and give in. And Gary was at that point, and Dad came up to him and said, "I want to thank you for putting this program on. My son learned to swim today, and he'll be safe because of it." He said, "Unfortunately, I had an older son that drowned, and this program wasn't available. So thank you so much for the unknown lives that you helped save through this program." So this program we're very passionate about as well. Any other questions?
Thank you, Angela.
Thank you.
Unless you're participating in the raffle, if you pick our winning ticket for the day. Sure.
Gotta be a Methodist.
Okay, 231-8787.
Is today the day?
8787?
Who's it then?
The bitch? Who is it?
Hey.
Oh, Kathy.
Kathy.
I don't see that on my.
What do we have, $2,000?
1850.
Go for it, Kathy. It's time to win.
I got a mirror under there?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Guyer.
That's not it.
That's not it. Oh.
Oh, man.
Tried to warn you, girl.
So how many we down to now?
Andy, we have a literacy project. We'll donate a book in your honor to the local library for speaking to us today. Any other announcements for the club or community? If not, Lindsay, we do have an announcement. Go ahead, Nelson.
I've got a little exclusive group I want to have to meet over here at this table with the 3 that are there, plus Butch Kent.
Okay. Butch, an exclusive group.
Yeah, it's
After
an
the meeting.
exclusive group. Yes.
Okay.
I'm not sure about that.
The old Orange Club.
All right, anything else? And with the 4-way test. Number 1, is this true? Number 2, is it fair to all concerned? Number 3, will it build goodwill and better friendships? And number 4, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Have a great week.